Okay, so this is a landing gear from 9 Eagles, from a helicopter from 9 Eagles 180D. Let's put that there next to the Genius mainframe, which has the skids on it. You can see the size difference is huge. So now what we want to do is put these skids onto this frame. So the first thing you want to do is get a pair of cutters, and you want to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, cut that off. When you're done cutting this, you're going to have little bits of plastic sticking out, and you can use a file or a diamond burr to just file that down. And then if you look underneath under the main frame of the Genius, you will see that there's a bit of plastic sticking out here. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to file that down to make it nice and flat. Now let me show you what it will look like. This is the same frame without the skids. I've filed down here to get everything off, and then down on the bottom here I got a nice flat surface here where I can put something there. And then here the skids on the front, I file that down a little bit, file that down a little bit. And so once you're done that, then you can go take the bigger skids. And what you're going to want to do, I will show it to you here. You want to get rid of some of the plastic you don't need on this. So the first thing, you don't need this. Cut that off. Cut that off. That. That. And now, you also don't need this part. Cut that off. Cut that off. And then you don't need this because this would interfere with the main gear. So get rid of that. This. And then if you want to make it look nice, you can always file that down. Now, and then you also don't need these big guys over here. So you get rid of that as well. Cut that off. And cut that off. Now, you've got some plastic sticking out here. You're going to want to use a hand file again, or a burr to get rid of that. I'm going to use a bench grinder and then show it to you here. That's about it. And then of course you can file down anything else that's sticking out too much. File that down if you want to. I guess make it a little bit lighter, just make it look nice. And then I usually give a bit of filing here to make that a nice and flat surface on this. And now essentially be a bit more filing here to make it look nice. But this is ready to install now. And then we've got the Genius mainframe that's also ready to install. What you want to do is you want to use some molding tape, small stuff or the wider stuff, and what you do is you cut a little strip of it. You want to put one just behind the servos here, just like that, and you can trim the excess. And then here, trim whatever you don't need. This. And now you're left, and I've already put a piece in the front here, which would be right on the two first slats underneath the battery tray for the Genius. Put a piece of sticky tape there, put a piece of sticky tape there. I don't recommend using double-sided sticky tape, it's not strong enough. This molding rubber stuff is really sticky, and it's much better. So now we're ready to stick that onto the skids. Just peel off the sticky part. What I do is I will take the skids, and on the back here you want that centered perfectly as far back as you want. So I just line it up, put that on there, push on there, and you can see it's very, very strong already now. This is not going to move off of there. And then the front will slip down in there, just like that. And there you go. We're done. Now, if I put that down, right, you can see the frame is pretty even. There's no, you know, basically the frame is just about as even as can be. Just make sure you stick that on there nice and solid. And there you go, we're done. When you're done, it's going to look like this if you're working on the heli. And I'll show you right here. These are the weak points on the skids. So I put some JB weld on there, or metal epoxy, to strengthen this part here, because I find that they tend to break right here from bending if you crash. But if you put a bit of strengthening on here, then it's a lot stronger. The downside to this is that the width here is much bigger, so when you want to install the canopy, you're going to have to cut like a wider part of the canopy off. If you do not put the JB weld there, then basically the cut up on the canopy will be much smaller, but I think, you know, it's wasted effort because they will break easy. At least they have broken easy for me. So that's it. That's what it is. Hope this helps.